For many gardeners, roses are a favourite plant, and we're often asked, can you take cuttings from roses and grow them successfully? The answer is, yes you can, and it's fairly simple. All you're going to need is a free draining potting mix, some cuttings, some hormone rooting powder, and a sharp, sterile knife or pair of secateurs. For our propagating mix, we're using a specialist rose potting mix, but we're mixing in a good cup of perlite, and this is going to ensure that the drainage is really good, because one of the problems with growing roses from cuttings is that the growing medium gets too wet and the cutting begins to rot. Once you've selected your cuttings, make sure that there are no buds growing on the top of the cuttings, and remove the thorns from the lower half of the cutting. Trim the foliage back, as this is going to reduce transpiration. Once you've done that, you can make a clean cut on an angle at the bottom of the cutting. Dip the cutting in some water, dip the cutting into the hormone rooting powder, and then you're ready to plant it. We suggest that you make a hole with a stick or a dibbler to put the cutting in. This makes sure that when you push the cutting down into the potting mix, that the hormone rooting powder stays in good connection with the cutting rather than getting knocked off if you just pushed it down through the soil. Once you've got the cutting in, firm it in well, and then water it in with something like a liquid seaweed fertiliser. Generally the cuttings will take about 8 to 10 weeks to form roots and show good signs of growth. You need to keep the cuttings in a warm position but out of direct sun, and we like to place a cloche over the top. This helps maintain humidity and lowers the transpiration rate, which means that you've got more chance of the cuttings striking well. We're simply using a soft drink bottle with the bottom cut off and the lid removed, and this seems to work really well. You can, if you want to, use a propagating tray, however these cost a bit of money, or if you're lucky, you may have a glass cloche that you could use instead of the plastic one. We're going to mist spray it every few days just to make sure that it doesn't dry out. This particular cutting has been in for about 8 to 10 weeks. As you can see, it's putting on really good new growth. The old foliage has actually dropped off, so all of this is new growth. We'd leave this cutting in the pot for another 4 to 5 weeks at least, until it develops a really good root system. During that time, we'll leave the cover off so that the cutting hardens off and is ready to plant out into the garden. If you wanted to, you could pot this up into a larger pot and grow it on for another year before planting out. Good luck with taking rose cuttings and growing them into wonderful new flowering plants. For more information on how to grow roses, how to propagate a whole range of plants, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Good luck with your gardening.